If you missed Rollerjam last week, you missed Mark DeMotto and the New York Enforcers smashing their way through the Florida Sundogs to retain their leaders of the pack status.
I am the most dangerous man on skates.
Tonight, the Enforcers lie in wait for the mega match, but who will they face? Game 1 pits Western rivals the California Quakes against the flashy Nevada Hot Dice.
Our whole team's got what it takes. They're going down.
The showgirls of the Nevada Hot Dice are bold and beautiful, and they're out to get the Quakes' bodacious bot squad.
Take away their plastic surgery and their makeup, and they're nothing but a bunch of fat hags with zits and bad hair.
The Hot Dice will try to shake, rattle, and roll the Quakes, and the winners confront the Enforcers. So, are you ready to Rollerjam? From Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, this is the World Skating League. Tonight, it's a Nevada Hot Dice against the California Quakes. Welcome to Rollerjam Arena. Hello, everyone. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my, as always, broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rehrman. And Hawk, certainly an undercurrent in this one on the California Quakes, the Bod Squad as we have known them. And, of course, we're talking about Stacy Blitch, Cindy Zimmerman, and Jamie Konomak. Originally were joined at the hip. Now suddenly, Stacy Blitz seemingly wants no part of the other Bod Squatters.
Well, these three always wanted to stand out, but they had a tendency to do it as a unit. Now, Stacy Blitz is trying to separate herself. She wants all the glory for Stacy Blitz, not the rest. I tell you what, we've got inner turmoil. We'll see how it plays out tonight. Could get interesting.
Take a look at how the Bod Squad arrived for tonight's matchup.
Where's Stacy Blitz?
We don't know, and we don't care.
Obviously, no love lost between Stacy Blitz, Jamie Konomak, and Cindy Zimmerman as you see Stacy Blitz arriving all by herself. Stacy, never one to be shy around the camera. And Hawk, by contrast, the Nevada Showgirls are as together as any three girls could possibly be.
Well, I'll tell you what, I get excited just looking at them, but I think that they are fully aware of the Bod Squad turmoil, and they're going to show unity even more so than they would otherwise because it is a total slap in the face of the Bod Squad.
Providing they get their showing off down just a little and concentrate on the game. Let's go to trackside. Here's our announcer, Tom Chasson.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the team that's never met a casino it didn't like, the Nevada Hot Dice!
Nevada Hot Dice.
They call it the Showgirl Sizzle. I don't like every good showgirl in Vegas, they keep changing their show, I think.
Now, the team that makes the ground shake every time they skate, the California Quakes!
Quakes, you know, here in the World Skating League, they've always been used to getting all the attention. But the Hot Dice, and I need not say more as you look at Marissa Diamond, they seem to be getting all the attention, and it's really starting to really get it's a kink in the armor for the Quakes that the Hot Dice are getting all the attention.
Well, Marissa Diamond certainly gets your attention, to say the least. Now, starting for the Hot Dice tonight, two of the three showgirls in the starting lineup, Kim Hart and Shay Brown, along with the speedster Mindy Smith, followed by Vicky McEwen and Katie Cooper. For the California Quakes, Jamie Konomak and Cindy Zimmerman, we know our Bod Squatters. Stacy Blitz, we're not sure of right now. Followed by the veteran Faith Urban, and a little bit of a surprise, Brooke Sunderman in the starting lineup for the California Quakes. You see the teams, the jammers at the front of the line, and we're off and running as we start the beginning of each and every period. Jamie Konomak out front, the lead jammer for the California Quakes. Here comes Kim Hart and Cindy Zimmerman doing battle, but right now Jamie Konomak all alone, and here comes Cindy Zimmerman. Kim Hart down, and it's 2 California Quakes. Konomak and Zimmerman, 2 were certain Bod Squad members, all alone closing in on the pack.
Well, you see Jamie Konomak, she got right out early, and Cindy Zimmerman came up right with her, and I think they were just clapping to each other. They might have some kind of a code going for a play here, Ken. Let's watch close.
Well, it's 2 Bod Squatters and nary a jammer out. Now Shea Brown. Well, what a move by Shea Brown. Talk about heads-up skating. Shea Brown went right by the 2 Quake jammers and cut off the jam. Mindy Smith, a great, smart move. No points, but cut off the jam, not allowing the Quakes to get on the board.
Well, you saw the 2, we just talked about Jamie Konomak and Cindy Zimmerman coming up, and the Kim Hart, who was the jammer out for the hot dice, was nowhere to be seen, so they cut off the jam so that the Quakes couldn't score the points.
And certainly Stacy Blitch unaccounted for that first jam. Now Laura Weintraub, Mindy Smith out for the hot dice, and this is Cindy Zimmerman for the California Quakes. 2 hot dice. Cindy Zimmerman has been on both jams so far, but so far nobody's been able to crack the starting line of the scoreboard. And now one of the hot dice go down. It is now Laura Weintraub and Cindy Zimmerman as we come around 20 seconds. They both close on the pack. Laura Weintraub out of Santa Paula, California, 5'9", 135. She is a former hockey player, so she is no stranger. In fact, she was the only girl on her men's college hockey team. And right there, a great bit of blocking by Cindy Zimmerman and the California Quakes. We're back and we're dead even. The Quakes won, the hot dice won.
And these girls wasted no time in getting after it. I tell you what, if this is the indication, we're in for a big, fun night.
Well, right there, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Katie Cooper trying to take advantage of one of the Quakes with her back turned. But it is 1-1. We're all tied up in this opening match. Remember, laying in wait for the winner are the defending 3-time leaders of the pack, New York Enforcers, in tonight's mega match. And now Heather Sunderman breaks free, comes recipient of a whip, and it's Laura Weintraub. Heather Sunderman and Laura Weintraub. A lot of speculation as to whether Sunderman is or isn't a part of the Bod Squad. Amy Craig, a real speedster for California, now out along with Weintraub and Sunderman. We're all tied up at 1, and a great double elbow by Weintraub puts down both the California Quakes. Golden opportunity here for Weintraub.
Well, and Amy Craig, one of those Quakes that has really picked up the slack as the California Quakes women have seemed to have a bit of an attitude problem. Amy Craig doesn't say too much, but she seems to have come to play the last several weeks.
Now Stacy Blitz calling her up. Weintraub, Stacy Blitz hanging back, and interesting, all by herself. None of her other teammates helping her, but right now, the battle, Stacy Blitz doing it all by herself, and that time you can't argue with success. Turns around and puts Laura Weintraub down. In fact, Weintraub kind of gets up, has a few words to say to Stacy Blitz, but Hawk.
And here you see the 2 Quakes go down at the elbow of Laura Weintraub, and here you see Stacy Blitz pick it up.
Blitz did it all by herself.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team, email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
And so far, it's been very interesting. Stacy Blitz seeming to do all the blocking by herself. Hawk, it's almost like the rest of her teammates want no part of her.
Well, the Bod Squad have stated that they don't like each other, and the 2 in the person of Cindy Zimmerman and Jamie Konomak have all but ignored Stacy Blitz other than being on the track.
Well, right now we're all knotted up at 1. It's now breaking free. This looks as this Kim Hunt. It's Lauren Weintraub again coming out. Mindy Smith ahead blocking for Weintraub, and here comes Amy Craig. Laura Weintraub is certainly a slower skater than Amy Craig, and down she goes, and that Hawk well could have been. She's just winning. That was the 3rd straight jam she's been out on. And look at Sean Atkinson. What's he doing on the track?
Well, you saw Sean Atkinson out there hooping and hollering. That's got to be against some kind of World Skating League rule. But we have already talked about Amy Craig as really having come to play with the Bod Squad The three Quake women in disarray. Amy Craig again showing that she can perform in the face of adversity.
And Shea Brown, the biggest skater out of Greensboro, North Carolina, back for the Hot Dice. But Amy Craig flew right by her. Nice clip play right there from Stacy Blitch. A good jam by Amy Craig, putting the Quakes points on the board.
Well, and I got to take my hat off to Laura Weintraub. Right here you see Amy Craig sends her to the ground, and you notice her helmet comes off there, Ken. Right there again in the replay that you saw her just out of the screen, her helmet was still off. She played almost that entire jam without her helmet, was not worried, definitely put her team's needs before her own.
2-1 Quakes. Certainly discretionary call by the referees of the WSL. If a helmet comes off accidentally, they allow the jam to go on, and that's exactly what happened there. Now Mindy Smith out of Greensville, North Carolina, the fastest skater for the Nevada Hot Dice, breaks free. A good look at Smith, 5'4", 117 pounds, right now all alone. Now Amy Craig once again trying to catch up to her.
Well, now I wonder what happens if somebody's pants fall off, Ken. Will they stop at that? I hope not.
Why does that comment from you not surprise you?
Unless Sean Atkinson's pants fall off, then we have to stop the rolling the can.
Mindy Smith tried to get by the double block, couldn't do it. Stacy Blitz now back getting some help from one of her teammates. And now Smith comes by again, tries to block it, and down goes Stacy Blitz. Mindy Smith now goes by virtue of Stacy Blitz going down, putting some points on for the Hot Dice. Mindy Smith now goes into the boards, and I don't know if I didn't quite pick up the number. Who was that nailed her?
I believe that was Brooke Sunderman, if I'm not mistaken. Right here you get a good shot of the physical play going on right there. That's Brooke Sunderman there. She was definitely having her way with Mindy Smith, and I believe Shea Brown and some of the other Hot Dice. But it's really starting to get physical out there, Ken. And right at the end of that last jam, you saw Amy Craig was bending over a little bit fatigued, and we're still only in the first period.
It is still 2-1 Quakes. You're exactly right, Hawk. This now coming out is Kim Hart and Heather Sunderman. I would have to say right here, Kim Hart certainly the more physical of the two players. Sunderman might have the edge on speed, and as I said, Kim Hart puts her down with the elbow, and now Kim Hart coming in all alone, closing out on the pack.
Well, and Heather Sunderman, a very tall skater, definitely was taken advantage of by Kim Hart. But you saw there, Ken, Kim Hart playing to the crowd, doing the little showgirl sizzle out there by herself. As I alluded to earlier, they seem to have taken away some of the attention from the bod squad, and I don't know if the bod squatters like it. These showgirls are definitely here playing on behalf of their Hot Dice. I like it.
Well, I don't know that Kim Hart used a lot of good judgment showboating in the middle of a jam when she had nobody for the Quakes coming up. Instead of putting points on the board, she was content on showboating. But right there, she breaks a double block. Great job. Both jammers go through. Mindy Smith following Kim Hart right through it. She certainly recovered. And there you see Stacy Blitz a little unhappy. Now here's a look at the rules of the WSL.
Listen up, you freaks. I'm Mark D'Amato, captain of the New York Enforcers. And I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite ways to hurt people. I call it the Screamer. It's my signature move, and the best part, it's legal. Not that I care about the rules, but I like to humor those two-bit referee chumps. The legal way to do the Screamer is to stop and turn around, but not to skate against the flow of the pack. Now, I wait for another skater, like that goody-good Bill Barker. While my teammates distract him, I line him up, and then I hit him with the Screamer. Mark, can we get one more? Hey, get out of my face.
The men are on the track as we get ready for period number 2. We've got a barn burner to say the least. We'll be back with the second period right after this. The Nevada Hot Dice lead the California Quakes by a score of 3-2. The men are on the track, and there's no question it'll be Sean Atkinson and Little Richard. And you can see Captain Sean Atkinson on the track as we are ready to start the second period. Starting for the California Quakes, it will be Captain Sean Atkinson, Rusty Montgomery, Eric Slopey, Rick Murray, and Chad Vaughn. For the Hot Dice, Randy Garrett, Christian Salvia, PJ Rossi, Mark Weber, and Micah Martin. And certainly it'll be interesting, Hawk, to see how the hot dice deal, as there's Marissa Diamond with the uncontrollable wild man. Speaking, of course, of none other than Sean Atkinson.
Well, with Marissa Diamond out there, I'm always going to know what period it is, Ken. I got to tell you.
That doesn't surprise me. We see all four jammers breaking loose. Right now, this is Eric Slopey on the white pony for the California Quakes. Christian Salvia leading for the Hot Dice, along with PJ Rossi and Murray. Right now, it is Christian Salvia in the lead, battling one of the California Quakes as they come around the corner. Nice move by Salvia to keep his balance for the Quakes. This is Eric Slopey going down, and now Christian Salvia closing in, and both the jammers for the Quakes down. Right now it's Rossi and Salvia closing in for the Dice. Look at Sean Atkinson, a one-man wrecking crew. Salvia gets the elbow. Rossi goes into the corner. Now he tees up Salvia again. Sean Atkinson, I'll tell you, he might be one of the most dangerous skaters in the league. A double Texas Bulldog by Sean Atkinson. He might be an enigma, but that is why he is indeed captain of the Quakes.
Well, and Sean Atkinson, earlier in the season, I called him a big blueberry, and he came up to me earlier in the weekend and said, Hawk, I don't really like calling it blueberry, and he definitely has shed a few pounds. And that sleek and lean Sean Atkinson, as you see the double Bulldog right here, the Hot Dice go down like a ton of bricks, snake ass.
Great move by Sean Atkinson. In fact, Atkinson is standing by with our Broadway Danny Wolf.
Sean Atkinson, we all know the Quakes have been struggling lately. You guys went from the king of the pack to now struggling against the Hot Dice. What's the cure?
The cure is this, man. Stop partying, stop doing girls. Get a grip, the Hack Attack is back.
I don't know, Hawk, but I am suddenly glad that it was Broadway Danny Wolf talking to Sean Atkinson and not you or me.
Well, I feel very safe up here with you, Ken. And Atkinson's a wacko, whether he's thick, a blueberry, or sleek and lean.
And Brian Gallagher now out for the California Quakes. What a great move by Gallagher. And instead of, I can't imagine what Gallagher's thinking. Turns around, admires his work, and Mark Webber just blows right by him. Now Tony Santiago trying to give chase. What was Brian Gallagher thinking? But now it's Santiago all alone.
Well, a lot of times these California Quakes, we've seen it all year, they showboat at the expense of smart play, and a lot of times it costs them. A lot of times you can celebrate, you can play to the crowd, but if you don't concentrate on what you're doing, you lose opportunities to score points, and that happened right there by the California Quakes.
And Mark Webber and Rusty Montgomery are battling out, but Little Richard is over, goes Webber. Little Richard back to block, and you know, his leadership, and Santiago goes down in a great move right there. Rusty Montgomery sends Little Richard into the board.
Well, and Rusty Montgomery, somebody we don't talk about a whole lot. You get a good chance of seeing Gallagher here. He even makes me wince. That's number 17, Brian Gallagher. Watch Rusty Montgomery, number 14 right there. That was one of the Hot Dice, but then you see later on in the replay, Richard Brown. I can't even contain myself. That hurt me, and I'm up here with you, Ken.
I'll tell you, little Richard Brown has certainly had a great effect on the Hot Dice this week. His leadership and coaching, you could question his style of play, but they were sorely missing some leadership. Richard Brown has provided that leadership, and what we're seeing so far, you can't question the results. As right now, the Hot Dice find themselves in a foreign territory, doubling up the California Quakes by 6-3. Brian Gallagher now already out for the California Quakes, and coming around, this is Micah Martin. His brother Sam, of course, plays for the Florida Sundogs, but this is Micah, and also coming out Christian Salvia for the Nevada Hot Dice. But right now, it's 2-1, two jammers, and both the Hot Dice go down.
Well, you saw Brian Gallagher, he kind of baited the Hot Dice to some degree, got them up together, made them think, pulled them into a false sense of security, and forced them to smash into each other as they tried to cut him off from scoring. And here he goes into the back of the pack. Now he's starting to score points, Ken.
Great move by Gallagher. This time he's thinking about it. He just spun right around one of the Hot Dice. Now takes a whip, another individualistic move, but he cuts off the jam. This time, Brian Gallagher certainly had his head in the game. Very fine jam this time from Brian Gallagher. Now, here's Danny standing by with Little Richard.
Little Richard Brown, in just one short week, you have brought an attitude and an emotion to this Hot Dice team. How bad do you have to get into the mega match and meet Mark D'Amato?
Mark D'Amato don't mean nothing to me. It's the Quakes right now. That's where I'm concentrating on. I'll take each game as it comes.
I have to question Danny. Why is he asking Little Richard about Mark D'Amato? They've got to get by the Quakes before they can even think about D'Amato.
Well, not only that, but the last jam belonged to Brian Gallagher. And if not that, the one before that belonged to Rusty Montgomery. The Quakes have really come to play here. I don't know how good of a job Little Richard is preparing his hot dice for the Quakes today.
Right now, Tony Santiago is out for the California Quakes, being followed very closely by Micah Martin. Santiago now with the inside of the track. Martin tried to go low. Nice move by Santiago, blocking him out, making him go high. And now this time Micah Martin goes down. Oh, what a nice move by Santiago just to keep his balance. Martin even looked a little bit surprised. And now Martin runs right into Chad Vaughn, the big blocker for the Quakes. And now Martin once again sets his sights on Vaughn as Santiago goes down.
Well, Chad Vaughn is a very physical skater. He tries to close the door, but you see number 33, Micah Martin, sneak around him and score some points. Great job by the hot dice to score points on that jam.
Atkinson obviously pleased with himself, taking down Micah Martin. And now words with Little Richard Brown. Remember, waiting in the wings for the winner of this one, the New York Enforcers. There you see Captain Mark D'Amato.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team, email players and fans, even buy your favorite jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
Hawk, I don't think there's any question the leadership of Little Richard has certainly taken its toll. The hot dice ahead of the Quakes 7-6, and they're playing far more like a team than we saw last week.
Well, Little Richard Brown, he always has a cagey way of bringing his team ready to play. But I have to comment on Little Richard Brown. The last two jams, the Quakes have done very well. I don't know if Little Richard can keep his hot dice into the game, and if the last two jams are any indication, the hot dice are in for a long game here today.
Well, right now, Mark Webber and Eric Slope are on. Mark Webber with a little bit of a lead as they come around the inside of the track. Webber and Slope, oh, look at that. The whole pack goes down. Now there, Mark Webber, if he'd been thinking about it, could have cut off the jam very quickly, but instead they both lap the pack and they balance themselves out. Now it's as they close around for a second time, Slope takes the lead. Boy, Webber had a golden opportunity and ran right smack dab into Sean Atkinson. And now Slopey cuts off the jam when Webber was down, and Slopey could have gone around and challenged the rest of the pack.
Well, and you saw right here, there's a melee on the track as you see Mark Webber go over. As you alluded, if he'd have cut off the jam there, then Eric Slopey wouldn't have scored the points. But then Sean Atkinson in the body block, I think that's called the Superman, totally takes him out. Great play by Sean Atkinson.
We'll be back with more right after this. With the score, the California Quakes 11, the Nevada Hot Dice 11. It's halftime. Welcome back, everyone, to Rollerjam Arena. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rehrman. And Hawk, there is no question, the leadership and experience of Little Richard is certainly coming to the forefront for the Hot Dice. In all honesty, I did not expect the Hot Dice to be anywhere close to the Quakes by halftime.
Well, he did bring some experience and did bring the leadership, but if you're talking about who brought some punch to the arena tonight, it has to be Sean Atkinson. We talked about the matchup of Sean Atkinson and Little Richard Brown, and right here you see some physical play by Sean Atkinson. That was a double bulldog, and right here, Eric Slopey setting up a flying body block. He said, I can't call it the Superman, but whatever the heck it was, Sean Atkinson is out there cleaning house.
And on the women's side, the Bod Squad and the battle between the Nevada Hot Dice Showgirls have been all we wanted and then some. Certainly the Showgirls very much together, but still doing a lion's share of showboating for the cameras. But on the Bod Squad, Jamie Konomak and Cindy Zimmerman want no part of Stacy Blitch. In fact, there you see Stacy Blitch, who Konomak and Zimmerman say is the cause of all their problems.
At the start of the season, life with the Bod Squad was picture perfect. The three Quake teammates did everything together. With fame and glory came competition and division, both on the track and off.
I gotta do what I gotta do for me.
The latest shockwaves have come from a promotional calendar that was supposed to be of the whole Bod Squad, but instead was all Stacy Blitch.
Stacy went off and flirted or hooked up with some guy behind the scenes and made it just the Stacy Blitch calendar. I don't want to be just Miss January. I want to be Miss January through December. Who wants to look at Cindy Zimmerman for 31 days?
There's not enough room to fit a shot of her ass in February because there's only 28 days.
What will happen with a once united bod squad that is now divided?
Stacy Blitch, she's such a bitch.
I'll tell you what, harsh words from Cindy Zimmerman, but you got to ask yourself, will they have a chance in the mega match if they do make it to the mega match?
No love lost there. And speaking of the mega match, our Broadway Danny Wolf is standing by with the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers.
All right, I'm squeezed here between Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato. Hey, if either of you put your hands on me, I'm going up there and getting Hawk to be a bodyguard. What do you think of that?
Hawk ain't nothing, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll like to hear that. You guys are in the mega match. You guys, the New York Enforcers, are the leaders of the pack. Mark D'Amato, do you care who you skate against in the mega match?
You know what? I've been sitting out here this whole game. Neither one of these teams is showing me anything. I personally want to take on Little Richard. I think I kicked Sean's ass enough. I think it's Richard's turn.
How about you, Tim Washington? You have a preference? The hot dice, Richard Brown seems to have been going pretty good tonight so far.
Doesn't make a difference to me who we take on next because the Enforcers rule. Everyone knows that. So get out of my face, man. Move. Leave. Now.
Somebody better rescue that little kid from Mark D'Amato.
There is no question the New York Enforcers await the mega match to defend their title of leaders of the pack. Who they'll play, we'll find out right after this. We're all dead even at 11 between the California Quakes and the Nevada Hot Dice. And the question is coming up, who will win the Battle of the Beauties? The Nevada Showgirls or the California Bot Squad? And you see Marissa Diamond holding up the three, telling you we are about ready to start the third period of play. Of course, Marissa Diamond, Hawk's favorite member of the Nevada Hot Dice, even though she doesn't skate.
I just told the producer in the headset I'm not saying a word.
And we are underway. We are all knotted up at 11 apiece, and right now this is Stacy Blitch out and Kim Hart. One interesting matchup. These two both love the limelight, and this is a golden opportunity for one or the other to prove that they are top dog on their team. And right now on the track, and Kim Hart sends Blitz into the rally, but Stacy does a nice job of coming around.
Well, and they're both bruisers, and as we talked about, Kim Hart likes to celebrate a little bit when she's going around, and Stacy Blitz does not like anybody detracting from her attention.
I'll tell you, I still question Kim Hart why she persists in celebrating every time she makes a good move instead of closing in on the pack. But she seems to, as we're down under 20 seconds, and Hart not celebrated, she could well be up to the pack. But now you see Mindy Smith back serving as a blocker. It is only Hart and Blitz that have lapped the pack. They are under 10 seconds. Hart goes by her own teammate. That doesn't help. Now she gets by Faith Urban. Urban tried for a block and just plain mistimed it. A very easy point right there for Kim Hart as the jam expires, and Blitz and Hart still battling it. Stacy Blitz a little concerned over being upstaged, but now here's Broadway Danny Wolf with the captain of the Quakes.
Tie game right now, Sean Akatak. What are you smiling for?
Because I knew we had it in us, man, to have a good game. It might not be pulled together, all of it, but I tell you what, the leaks are getting fixed, baby. I'm starting to save the ship. Oh, Daddy, get ready.
I've got to say one thing, Hawk. Even though we're tied at 12, Sean Atkinson never at a loss for words.
Well, at Broadway Danny Wolf, I think it's getting pretty rough down there for him, whether he's in the stands or on the infield. Our players in the World Skating League are pulling no punches with him. One of these days he's going to end up with a fist in his face.
And Danny, we like you down there, and Hawk and I like to be up here in press row. There's no question. Heather Sonneman now breaks loose for the California Quakes, and here comes Mindy Smith. Heather Sonneman with those long legs and surprisingly deceiving speed as she cruises around. Mindy Smith, the fastest of the Nevada Hot Dice, and Hunter Sonneman right now staying right with her. Here comes Jamie Konomak, and all three go down. Look at Jamie Konomak just slapping Mindy Smith. Meanwhile, Laura Weintraub goes by everybody.
Well, that illustrates the frustration that these other Bod Squad members are having. Jamie Konomak went down as one of her teammates knocked her to a heap, and these guys are frustrated, Ken. We are seeing a total, I guess, meltdown on behalf of the Bod Squad members for the California Quakes.
Well, right now, that's Brooke Sunderman back, the biggest member of the Quakes, blocking, and now Stacy Blitch nails right there. A great move. Laura Weintraub goes down as the jam clock expires. Laura Weintraub, I thought, caught sleeping a little bit.
Well, here's the replay. You see Jamie Konomak go down. I believe she landed up on top of Mindy Smith, but it's getting really physical out there as we get a shot of Stacy Blitch, number 32, coming around the track. I don't know if the mental situation of the California Quakes is going to affect them worse than it already is, but these guys are a team at war, Ken.
Well, this is a couple jams now. No scoring, but Kim Hart now, a whip from Shea Brown. And what does Hart do after the whip? Stops and poses plays to the crowd. Well, I tell you, little Richard Brown, I think, needs to have a heart-to-heart conversation with Kim Hart, who goes into the railing at the end of this period. And now Cindy Zimmerman all alone as she comes around. Zimmerman, of course, out of Clearwater, Florida.
Ken, you did not just say a heart-to-heart talk with Kim Hart, did you?
I wondered if you were going to pick that one up.
I picked that one up like a fire engine red light bulb.
I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention, Hawk. Shea Brown now, Cindy Zimmerman. Shea Brown and Cindy Zimmerman. Shea Brown, the biggest of the Nevada Hot Dice at 5'10", 150 out of Greensboro, North Carolina, doing a good job of keeping Cindy Zimmerman from closing in on any of her other teammates. Now one of her other teammates, a nice play by Stacy Blitz, sending one of the dice into the rail. Zimmerman goes by her and then cuts off the jam. But a very smart heads-up play by both Stacy Blitz and Cindy Zimmerman. There you see Blitz send one of the teammates in, and Cindy Zimmerman goes right around very smartly.
But here's a good shot of Shea Brown, number 35, totally dominating the track out there. She's a very big girl, a lot like Janet Abraham of the New York Enforcers. She's very large out there. She can really cut off a lot of jammers from the opposing team, but she also is very, very fast, Ken.
Right now it is 13-12. California Quakes on behalf of that point scored by Cindy Zimmerman. Once again, here is Heather Sunderman, who breaks out, being pursued by Laura Weintraub chasing her. Heather Sunderman and Laura Weintraub. We haven't seen quite as much of Laura Weintraub jamming as we might have thought. And here comes Amy Craig, and Sunderman, a smart job taking down Weintraub, leaving a clear field for Amy Craig.
Well, when we see Amy Craig, we know how fast she is. A very good move to take Laura Weintraub down. That paves the way for Amy Craig to come around to the back of the pack unimpeded to score some points like she does right there.
And a nice job by teammate Stacy Blitch. We haven't seen a lot of teamwork from Stacy Blitch, but certainly right there allowing Amy Craig to put some well-earned points on the board. Now let's go trackside to Broadway, Danny Wolf.
Little Richard Brown, you've been with this team for just one short week, but the Little Richard Brown experience seems to be helping the women. They're doing great so far.
They're doing great. We have a long way to go, but every day we're training and learning, and they're going to do a great job, and we're going to be right in there with everybody.
Also, D'Amato said at halftime he wants you in the mega match.
He wants nobody. I'll make him look like a chump. I'll make him look like a chump.
And right there, Mindy Smith, the speedster for the Nevada Hot Dice, breaking away wide open. You see the scoreboard, it is 16-12 right now, and Smith being pursued by Heather Sunderman. But here comes Smith and Faith Urban again. This is the second time Faith Urban went for a block and just totally missed. Mindy Smith knew she had an easy one. Now Faith Urban comes back a little shove from behind, but once the points are on the board, Hawk, doesn't do you any good.
Well, it was a great job by Mindy Smith. You saw her go right around, but cut off the jam, so that I believe that was here. You see the replay. You see number 36, Mindy Smith, go right around, score the points, call off the jam, right around Faith Urban like she was standing still. But more importantly, she called off the jam before Heather Sunderman could score the points.
It is 16-13, California Quakes, as we are in the middle of period 3, and now breaking loose right now. This is Stacy Blitch. We haven't seen Stacy now jamming for a while. Stacy Blitch with a jamming helmet being pursued. It's either Kim Hart or Laura Weintraub as they come around. It is indeed Kim Hart. Sometimes that long hair covers those numbers on the back. Stacy Blitz, whoa, does she go down? The big forearm from Kim Hart. Now this time Kim Hart doesn't showboat. Perhaps she finally realized what she has to do. She and Mindy Smith closing Now to jammer out for the Quakes. What a golden opportunity right now for the Nevada Hot Dice.
Well, and I tell you what, if there was any time that Stacy Blitch was angry is when you saw her get up off the track there. The grimace on her face, Ken, if looks could kill, we'd all be dead.
I don't think Stacy Blitch's backside likes the track. Nice bit of blocking by Amy Craig. Now Stacy Blitch, a Texas Bulldog by Stacy Blitch. That simply was retaliation. The only difference, Kim Hart put her down legally, Stacy Blitch illegally, and there they go.
And what comes around goes around. You saw the grimace from Stacy Blitch. Well, it didn't take her. It took her less than half a jam. Here's the beginning. Stacy Blitch goes down, and here's the end of the replay. Payback's a Blitch.
The Texas Bulldog.
She does that to me one more time, you don't mess with me. She's gonna get it all right back, I'm telling you. Don't mess with me.
Well, Stacy Blitch, I'd have to say talk is a little cheap, and right on that last jam, certainly Kim Hart handed it to you.
Close one. It's the California Quakes 16, the Nevada Hot Dice 15. Hawk, the men are on the track.
Well, and Sean Atkinson won the physical battle in the first half. One thing's for sure, his mouth never takes a rest.
Let me tell you something, my man. The track is my ocean, and I'm a great white shark, and you're just a piece of meat. So get out of the water before I take a bite out of your ass.
And there you see Marissa Diamond holding up the card, signifying the start of period 4. And we'd like to thank our ace statistician, Eric Marcolita, does such a great job of keeping those cards 1 through 4 in the correct numerical order. And Brian Gallagher now out right off for the California Quakes. And this is Christian Salvia coming up for the Hot Dice. This the 4th and final period. Remember, waiting in the wings is, they both go down. The New York Enforcers, 3-time defending leaders of the pack, are waiting for tonight's mega match. They'll face the winner of this one.
And Brian Gallagher went down to check his skate after that run-in with, I guess that was Salvia. And I'm wondering if his skate might be a little bit messed up there, Ken. We'll see if it affects him going into the back of the pack here.
Well, look at the Superman right there by Sean Atkinson, taking out 2 of the California Quakes, and Gallagher calls it off. Is Atkinson proud of himself?
Well, just moments ago, we saw Sean Atkinson talking smack. Well, for once, he puts his muscle where his mouth is, and the Superman cut him off right there.
You saw a quick look at Sean Atkinson's girlfriend, very happy as well. Now let's go to Danny Wolf.
Stacy Blitch, obviously you have not patched up any of your differences with the Bod Squad. When you got in the fight with Kim Hart, the only person you gave a high five to was Amy Craig.
Well, they had to have someone stand in my spot because I can do this.
Here they are. And how about this girl, Heather Sunderman, looks to be, she replaced you.
Okay, well, they can't do the job. They can't do the job, so I'm gonna have to do it myself.
Hawk, I'm still a little shocked as Eric Slopey breaks out on paper, and it's PJ Rossi for the Hot Dice. The California Quakes should be doubling up the Hot Dice. I just don't understand what's going on with the Quakes.
Well, we've been talking about the dissension that is epitomized right there by the Bod Squad. These Quakes, as I've said probably 5 times tonight, just don't seem to have a direction other than fighting internally. This internal squabble is killing the California Quakes.
Nice move by Little Richard, sending one of the Quakes over the rail. Rusty Montgomery now back to block PJ Rossi, and Little Richard nails another one of the... look at Sean Atkinson, the skyscraper from outside the track. What a move, and a phenomenal move by Sean Atkinson.
Well, we talked about Sean Atkinson getting lean and mean as he lost some weight after me, this announcer, called him a blueberry earlier in the season. Well, this is what there's Richard Brown. You see
nice
him taking down Slopey. But keep your eye on Sean Atkinson with the skyscraper off the top rope, cleaning house. A lean, mean Sean Atkinson getting it done. No longer a blueberry, Ken.
PJ Rossi didn't know what hit him, and now Danny Wolf is heading over to try and get a word with Sean Atkinson. Unbelievable, what a move. Danny?
Sean, your Quakes are up by 2 points.
Why do you keep bugging me? We gotta stop meeting like this. Of course we're up by 2 points because we got Big Daddy. Oh yeah!
Big Daddy's in the penalty box.
Don't worry, it's all a mind game, all a mind game. I'm gonna beat him, beat him, beat him. Oh yeah!
Well, Sean Atkinson, so far, it might all be a mind game, but for some reason your team is not playing up to anywhere near its capability. Talk about underachieving tonight. That would be the California Quakes. What a move by Richard Brown. One skate flies around the track.
Well, that was a little showboating by Richard Brown. We talked earlier, can he keep the Hot Dice women, the showgirls, from showboating? You saw him dancing a little bit as he now goes from being a showboater to showing some finesse.
Puts down Rick Murray. Now, Hawk, I've got to wonder, suddenly he was ready and able to showboat, but not until Sean Atkinson was in the penalty box.
Well, I don't know if Sean Atkinson had anything to do with it there, but you saw him coming around, whipping his hand around in the air. Now, speaking of whips, he gets a whip from Micah Martin, and they mess it up, it looks like.
Oh, they go down. Absolute disaster. Little Richard went down. Now two of the California Quakes. Oh, little Richard Brown, there's that experience. Turns right around, goes by Chad Vaughn, and one of the other Quakes ducks underneath and puts some points on the board.
Well, as soon as I try to give Richard Brown a little bit of lip, he comes back and redeems himself. Here you see him going underneath the double block of Chad Vaughn and Rusty Montgomery and scores points and immediately calls off the jam. As you see a fight ensuing, that's number 37, Mark Webber, into it with Chad Vaughn. And Chad Vaughn is a very big young man. I don't know what Mark Webber is doing, but obvious frustration out there.
I think the entire Quake team is getting frustrated, but we'll be back with more of this fourth period action right after this.
Quakes 18, the Nevada Hot Dice 18. Hawk, I'm shocked we're still tied.
Well, we got Vaughn and Webber separate. Hopefully some skating can decide the outcome.
I'll tell you, Hawk, this one is bound to be a barn burner. We are all even. You can't say enough about the play of the Nevada Hot Dice, overachieving, I would have to say, under the leadership of Little Richard. The California Quakes, no leadership at all. They should be ahead of this game, 10, 12 points. Instead, we're dead even at 18.
Well, I think the name of this game has been everybody trying to celebrate, and whoever celebrates last may be victorious in this first of our mega match matchup.
Down goes Randy Garrett, and coming around, this is a white pony. Eric Slopey gets a little bit on his pony, but Eric, it's all even, buddy. You better forget the pony ride. Catch up to the pack, Jack.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's not, we're here in the gut-wrenching time of the game. The white knuckle, drink green canal water, nut cut time, and he's out there bouncing around like a 13-year-old cheerleader. What are these guys doing, Ken?
Green canal water? Oh, my Lord. And Eric Slopey into the rail, but stays on his feet. Sean Atkinson, great move. Rusty Montgomery puts one of the Hot Dice down as we come around. A great move. Slopey still on the pony, goes by a whole host of Hot Dice and cuts off the jam. What a move by Eric Slopey out of DeLand, Florida, 6 feet, 155.
Well, and of course, that means here you see the end of the jam here. Randy Garrett taking the big shot from Eric Slopey. Here we fast forward a little bit. Rusty Montgomery knocks a Hot Dice into the infield, but now you see him paving the road. Eric Slopey moving right behind Rusty Montgomery. And I don't know what Micah Martin, number 33 for the Hot Dice, was thinking, but Eric Slopey right off Rusty Montgomery, scores points, calls off the jam, gives the Quakes the lead. Great job.
Smart move by Eric Slopey. You saw him pointing to Rusty Montgomery, letting him know what direction he was going, but the Quakes have a 2-point lead as we look at Sean Atkinson. We are getting right down to it. And there you see Sean Atkinson's girlfriend, Marcia Metaguso. Don't celebrate too much. There's still plenty of time left on the clock, Marcia.
Eric Slopey, the white pony, gives you a 2-point lead. You're so close to getting in the mega match.
Yeah, baby, that's all we need. Everybody knows we're best in the West. You can't handle this. We're California, they ain't nothing. Go home.
Well, we keep seeing it here, Ken. These Quakes want to celebrate. It's right down to nut-cutting time. Green Canal water, play the game, quit hooping and hollering, and these guys all want free FaceTime on television.
Now, this is very important, even though the game clock has 40 seconds. Remember, the final jam goes the entire 60 seconds. Mark Webber breaking out for the Hot Dice, and now Brian Gallagher comes out along with Micah Martin and Tony Santiago. But the man to watch right now is Mark Webber. He is the lead jammer. The Hot Dice trail by 3. There's Atkinson. He misses. Now Webber goes by him. That's 1 point. That is 1 point. It is 21-20. And Webber goes by yet another point. Micah picks up one. And Micah cuts it off. Micah scored 1. Webber scored 1. Dice win it. 22-21. Absolutely unbelievable. One of the biggest upsets we've seen in the WSL.
And Sean Atkinson on the track face down. He might really be injured, but the Quakes wanted to celebrate a little bit too much right there before the last jam. The bod squad, the internal squabble going on. Ken, these Quakes are a team with internal turmoil. It might be a long year for the California Quakes.
I'll tell you, maybe somebody should have told the bod squad they lost. There you see part of the Hot Dice showgirls. But now standing by trackside is our Broadway Danny Wolf.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Attack ain't nothing. We are the best in the West. Yeah!
Some people call this a bit of an upset, but the Hot Dice pull it off. Now the mega match.
Mark D'Amato, I'm on my way. You wanted me, you got me.
He definitely wanted you. He said it at halftime. He issued the
challenge. He's a chump. You want me? Come get it.
Kim Hart quickly. You guys, the showgirls, certainly took care of the bod squad tonight.
We had no problem with those girls. Those girls are just the wannabe bod squads. We're the real bods here, and we can skate too. That's the big thing. We can skate, and we took it all.
And an anxious Richard Brown, he doesn't need the formality of the mega match. He's already going after these enforcers.
And the mega match is coming up. It's the Enforcers against the Nevada Hot Dice, and it's coming right at you right after this.
If you just tuned into Rollerjam, you missed the Nevada Hot Dice proving they're the best in the West by crushing the California Quakes. Now Richard Brown is his new team against his old nemesis, Mark D'Amato.
Mark D'Amato, you wanted me, you got me.
It's been 4 weeks since the ex-Sundog attacked D'Amato, but the Enforcer kept it as a long memory.
It doesn't matter who Richard Brown skates for. When I get on that track, it's payback, baby.
The Enforcers lead the pack, but the Hot Dice are on a roll. So are you ready to mega match?
Welcome back, everyone, to Rollerjam Arena. On tap now, the mega match, and what a match of it is going to be. The upstart Nevada Hot Dice against the defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. I'm Ken Resnick, along with my broadcast partner, Lee the Hawk Rearman. And Hawk, I am still shocked the Nevada Hot Dice upended the California Quakes. Little Richard got more out of the Hot Dice than anybody thought he would.
Well, now everybody here in the World Skating League is giving so much credit to the Hot Dice, calling them upstart. You just said you're shocked at their performance. Look, Little Richard Brown has been around since, I think, the beginning of time. I think I saw a reference in the Bible about Little Richard, but he's a great leader. He's a decent skater. Don't get mad at me, Little Richard. But he's got these guys ready to play, and these guys aren't inexperienced. They got some good players. They got the leadership, and I'm not shocked, but I tell you, the Quakes are definitely not the kind of team that they're facing here in the mega match, the New York Enforcers.
And on the women's side, the question is, can the Nevada Showgirls stand up to the Sisters of Suffering of the New York Enforcers? Granted, they handled the California Quakes bod squad very well, but the bod squad in no way, shape, or form approaches the physical punishment the Sisters of Suffering will dole out to the Nevada Showgirls. Remember, the New York Enforcers have been here. They know how to win the mega match. They are the defending leaders of the pack. We'll find out just how far Richard Brown has brought the Hot Dice. Let's go trackside to Tom Chasson.
Ladies and Introducing the team that says it'll roll the dice all the way back to Sin City, the leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers!
This is almost becoming old hat. It seems like every time we get set for a mega match, the New York Enforcers are taking the track, and well, they should. 3-time defending leaders of the pack. They certainly know how to get it done in the mega match. Starting for the Hot Dice will be Shea Brown, Kim Hart, Mindy Smith, Katie Cooper, and Mandy Osborne. For the New York Enforcers, Karen Magnuson, perhaps the best blocker in the league, Janet Abraham, Shelly Rossell, Linda Leisure, and April Toodle. A bit of a surprise to me, Hawk, the fact that the Enforcer women may have the speed that Heather Gunnan is not in the starting lineup. And there you see Marissa Diamond with...
And I wonder what period it is, huh? Is it the first period, Ken? I wish our camera guy would go back there so I know that it's first period.
I'll tell you what, Hawk, nothing gets past you, my friend. And right off the bat, this is Karen Magnuson, I should say, breaking out for the New York Enforcers, and Kim Hart for the Hot Dice. Hart gives an elbow to Karen Magnuson, a little bit surprising. You would think Magnuson would be more the physical player, and that she is. Almost a clothesline, dang near decapitated Kim Hart.
Well, and we saw in the first game tonight that Kim Hart likes to celebrate a little bit, and we aren't barely into the first period. She was celebrating there, and Karen Magnuson took full advantage of her gloating and actually almost took her helmet off there. Ken, you see the Karen Magnuson shot to Kim Hart. Takes a smile off her face really quick.
I don't think she's celebrating. I think now she's checking to make sure that her head is still connected to the rest of her body. You see Janet Abraham did a good job of taking down Shea Brown. The Enforcers and Karen Magnuson pick up 1 point. It is 1-0 New York as we are early on in the mega match. Now the Jammers start at the back of the pack and breaking out for the Enforcers. This is Shelly Rossell and Bo Bowman for the New York Enforcers, and Laura Weintraub out of Santa Paula, California for the Nevada Hot Dice. But I don't know if I'd want to get between Shelly Rossell and Bo Bowman, but that's exactly where Weintraub finds herself right now. She takes the inside, perhaps Weintraub a little bit quicker than two, and a big elbow, the domino effect, takes down both of the New York Enforcers. And again, Laura Weintraub does a little showboating for the camera. Now she closes in on the pack, but back to greet her is none other than big Janet Abraham, along with April Toodle. I don't know if Weintraub will be able to break up this double block. You got to give her credit for trying.
Well, I'm about 250, Ken, and I don't think I could break up that block of Abraham and Toodle.
Now Shea Brown busts right through. Great job by Shea Brown. Fantastic indeed. Unbelievable. We'll be back with more right after this. We've got a defensive battle. It's the Hot Dice won, the Enforcers won.
And a low-scoring game definitely favors the Enforcers. Let's see if the Hot Dice can turn it around.
And we're all even at 1-1. The Enforcers and the Nevada Hot Dice, the best in the West by virtue of their win early on. Now Heather Gunnan, who was not in the starting lineup, which is a surprise, is back out on the track. Heather Gunnan, 3-time Pan American gold medal winner, being pursued by Mandy Osborne, or rather take it back, it is Mindy Smith, the speedster. This is the two fastest women on the track for their respective teams. The question is, can Mindy Smith stay with the speedster that Heather Gunnan is? And right there, Gunnan does a little celebrating of her own, putting down Mindy Smith. Now she closes on the pack. Shea Brown calling her up. Brown out of Greensboro, North Carolina, 5'10", 150, trying to get by Mindy Smith and Shea Brown. Gunner now getting tangled up with Mindy Smith. Janet Abraham back to lend her some help. And Shea Brown puts Heather Gunner down. Now goes after Janet Abraham. Shoves her out of the side and allows Mindy Smith to get by Janet Abraham. A nice bit of teamwork by Shea Brown.
Well, and I don't know what Heather Gunner was doing back there. Her and Mindy Smith both very fast. Heather Gunner wins the battle of the speed. And here you see Janet Abraham, one of the sisters of suffering, and she had her arms around the throat of number 35, that's Shea Brown. And our referee staff, I don't know if they're as much trying to protect Shea Brown as they are trying to protect themselves with Janet Abraham.
Well, I think this is a smart move by Janet Abraham. Shea Brown, certainly the biggest member of the Dice women.
Well, and here you see a replay of Heather Gunner first passing Shea Brown, but then you see her not do a very smart play. Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
At Broadway, Danny Wolf is standing by with Janet Abraham.
Janet Abraham, home sweet home. You're back home in the penalty box. You can't put someone in a headlock when the jam is over. You know,
she cheated, man. She pushed me just like that. So what I gotta do? I'm gonna put her in like that, and I'm gonna push it down.
Kudos to Danny Wolf. Danny, you just stay right down there in the infield.
Well, I thought Danny Wolf is in trouble when the men are in the penalty box or on the track. Heck, he's got more trouble with Janet Abraham than he does with Mark D'Amato. My goodness.
And Linda Leisure went flying into the boards. Shelley Rosell trying to get out now. Two jammers out for the Nevada Hot Dice. Laura Weintraub and Mindy Smith. I hope, Danny, in all seriousness, I hope you're okay. And a nice job by Laura Weintraub and Mindy Smith cutting off the jam after putting points on the board for the Hot Dice. And I got to tell you what, Little Richard has got the Nevada Hot Dice playing far above what any of us thought possible.
Well, you see a shot of Laura Weintraub right there. It seems like these Hot Dice are very conscious of where the enforcers are. It seems like they have a better knack of calling off jams when it's to their advantage. Good job of the Hot Dice right there.
What a shock here as the Nevada Hot Dice lead the enforcers, the reigning leaders of the pack here in the WSL by a score of 5-1 as Mindy Smith, the speedster, been out on every jam and leading this one as well. Being pursued now by Kim Hart, and it looks like Shelley Rosell by the skating style for the New York Enforcers. It is, and now it's Karen Magnuson, I beg your pardon. And now, what a smart move by Mindy Smith. She knows after 30 seconds she could cut off the jam. Saw Magnuson, heads up to Mindy Smith.
Well, and I just alluded to the last jam that Laura Weintraub did the same thing, but number 36, Mindy Smith right there, scored the points, watched the clock, watched her teammates, watched the enforcers, knew calling off the jam was her best option. Good job.
6-1 Dice, and Hawk, we talked about it. We never saw that kind of smart mental playing on the track until Little Richard took over. But there again, Kim Hart showboating, and this time Karen Magnuson takes her right down. I think the Sisters of Suffering are taking a little offense at the showboating of Karen Hart.
Well, and you saw it again. She was out ahead of the track. Here you see her after she was showboating. This is the very end of the replay. But you saw Kim Hart had an opportunity to totally bust away from the track, but she wanted to celebrate, slow down, gave Karen Magnuson a chance to catch up, and then it totally cut her off from getting up to the back of the pack.
Well, the one thing it is doing is keeping the New York Enforcer women in the penalty box. But I'll tell you, Little Richard needs to have a prayer meeting with Kim Hart. Now, Shelley Rosell and Heather Gunnan. These are the two flying speedsters of the Enforcer women. They're down by 5, and if anybody can get them back in the game, it would be the duo of Heather Gunnan and Shelley Rosell out on the jam. But once again, Mindy Smith, and this time she goes down. Heather Gunnan puts her down. Mindy Smith has got to be very, very tired. She's out on every jam. Here comes Shelley Rosell closing in on Shea Brown. Shea Brown, the largest of the Hot Dice women, is doing a great job of blocking, and now goes right by Janet Abraham, keeps her attention solely focused on Shelley Rosell. Now Rosell is able to get by Shea Brown. Shea Brown alertly turns her attention to Heather Gunnan. Rosell goes through the pack and cuts off the jam and draws the enforcers much closer to the Hot Dice. A nice jam. Shelly Rossell picking up 4 of the 5 points.
But here you see a good shot at teamwork. Heather Gunn, not somebody really known for being a team player, allowed Shelly Rossell to break out ahead of the pack by totally sacrificing herself, taking down Shea Brown. Great heads-up place by Heather Gunn to put her team ahead of her own needs.
I think, as you said, a smart move. Heather Gunn realizing that they can't let these hot dice, who are certainly on a roll, get too far out in front. And once again, who else? This is Mindy Smith flying out. And we end up as the period comes to an end. But what a great period by the Nevada Hot Dice. We'll be back with the men right after this.
In a surprise, it's the Nevada Hot Dice 6 and New York Enforcers 5. Remember, at the end of the last game, Richard Brown went right after Mark D'Amato. How long until he does it again?
Mark D'Amato, still the only member of the World Skating League to wear the quad skates. He's on the track starting for the men, for the Enforcers, along with J.R. Widener, Fred Eichhorn, Brian Gamble, and of course, Tim Washington. For the red hot dice of Nevada, it'll be Mark Webber, P.J. Rossi, Randy Garrett, Christian Salvia, and Micah Martin. And I'll tell you what, Hawk, there's your favorite, Marissa Diamond. And boy, I tell you, it's amazing. Every game she gets 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the right order. I'm proud of her.
Well, and I always know what period it is. It's a big red number 2, Ken.
Right off the bat, J.R. Widener breaks out for the New York Enforcers. And we've got 2 of the hot dice along with it. It's P.J. Rossi and Mark Webber coming out. And now down goes the Enforcer. And now it is the hot dice on their own. Golden opportunity. I'll tell you, Nevada has been skating. Sometimes you take a look at the talent and you wonder how they're able to play like they are. But right now, Rossi and Mark Webber closing in. And there's Mark D'Amato on his ever-familiar quad skates. He likes the fact that they make him more agile and give him more mobility. As you see, as he spins around, puts both the dice into the boards. 20 seconds left in the jam. In fact, the New York Enforcers not even worried. They figure with D'Amato back, nobody's going to get by.
Well, and if there's one guy in the World Skating League that can take on 2 people, besides Janet Abraham, who's the sister of suffering, it's Mark D'Amato, and it looks like a double bulldog as he takes down Mark Webber and P.J. Rossi, number 34 and number 37. And I was already talking about it. Mark D'Amato takes 2 hot dice down to the track with the Texas Bulldog, and little Richard Brown, needless to say, is not very happy about it.
He is an old nemesis, to say the least. Richard Brown and Mark D'Amato, it's not about teams. It is just about each other. It's personal. D'Amato said he doesn't care who Richard plays for. He wants him square in his sights.
Get online at www.rollerjam.com. Get the latest info on your favorite team. Email players and fans, even buy your favorite Jam merchandise, all with the click of a mouse. Get online and get to www.rollerjam.com.
Mark D'Amato, you guys are trailing. Obviously, you can't match the speed of the hot dice, so it's going to be brute force, right?
I don't know what it is. These refs.
Don't blame the refs.
You know what? They've never been with us. We're always for these. You know what? It's done.
And as ominous as Mark D'Amato is, I still concede that Danny Wolf is safer with Mark D'Amato than Big Janet Abraham.
I'm not getting into that one. And now, great move by Christian Salvia. And now the high picking up where Kim Hart takes off. That's the love machine of Christian Salvia. And I don't know why the hot dice is playing as well as they are. Insist on mugging for the cameras and the crowds. And right there, Salvia runs into an elbow of Fred Eichhorn. And that suddenly gets his mind right back on the track. Because Eichhorn doing a good job of hammering away on Salvia.
And I got to tell you, Ken, that the showgirl sizzle gives way to the love machine, and Tim Washington douses the love machine. And I tell you what, Sylvia, who was doing a pelvic thrust about 10 seconds ago, is now looking at Tim Washington. Not only does he not know what he's doing, he doesn't know if he's still back in the state of Nevada. Unbelievable.
Hawk, not that it's going to make any difference, but I'm pretty sure it's Christian Salvia, not Sylvia.
Salvia, saliva, whatever it was, Tim Washington put a hurting on him.
I will give you that, and Richard Brown doing a little joint with Washington right there. Salvia puts down Icor, but now take a look.
Well, our production staff, maybe later we'll get a good shot of the love machine, but there you see Tim Washington, all 300 pounds of him, rolling the dice, and Sylvia, saliva. I don't even think he knows what building he's in, Ken.
Bottom line right now, the dice are still ahead of this one, 8-5. Now I gotta wonder why suddenly J.R. Widener decided to take his helmet off. He's skating without a helmet. He did it deliberately. Now John Morrissey is out front, and down goes Micah Martin. Oh, did he take a big elbow from the skull, John Morrissey? Right now, Dan Gavani and Morrissey, I tell you what, they may not be pretty, but right now they are the lead jammers with nobody else following them for the Nevada Hot Dice. And you've got to know, take a look, here comes Richard Brown. Tries to send down Gavani, it has no effect. He misses the block on Morrissey. D'Amato goes by him, and Little Richard doing a great job of keeping all the enforcers behind him. Now Mark D'Amato setting up some strategy. Keep a close eye, and there's what Mark D'Amato did. Breaks up the double block, and suddenly Giovanni and Morrissey just cruise on through.
Well, we always talk about how the enforcers don't worry too much about style or substance. They just worry about inflicting pain. There you see Micah Martin on the receiving end of some of that. And then you see the double block set up by the enforcers, one of which was Little Richard Brown. Mark D'Amato, who we always talk about being physical, breaks it up with authority. There's Mark D'Amato. I think he goes home at night and like punches his doorman. He's always punching somebody, Ken.
I'll tell you what, right now he's got the enforcers in the lead, 9-8. And you've got to say one thing, D'Amato's got the enforcers pretty focused on the Nevada Hot Dice. You don't see any showboating on the part of the New York enforcers. Micah Martin puts down John Morrissey. Now Martin out all alone. Micah Martin can fly like his brother Sam of the Sundogs.
Well, and Micah Martin, we talked about how ugly the enforcers are. Micah Martin is the opposite, kind of a tall, lanky kid. You saw a really fluid skating style right there. But let's see how that fluid skating style goes up against Brian Gamble, one of the ugly enforcers.
Important note to Mark D'Amato, that was Hawk talking about how ugly the enforcers are, not me. As Micah Martin uses his speed, whips right around. He's got Mark D'Amato twirling around himself. D'Amato now trying to catch up. Another great move by Micah Martin. Showmanship learned from Richard Brown as Micah Martin, about the first Hot Dice to combine showmanship with skill, puts points on the board, then cuts off the jab. Great move indeed by Micah Martin.
And Micah Martin right there. Oh, it goes over and he gives Marissa a big kiss on the mouth. I tell you what, Micah Martin showed an unbelievable display of athletic ability.
And now smart move, Danny Wolf. Maybe you've got an even match this time in Micah Martin.
Micah, what was better, kissing her or making D'Amato look foolish?
I don't know, it's a hard choice. She was awesome, but getting out there against Tim and D'Amato and Brian Gamble and making them look like the big, fat, slow guys they are is awesome.
It is. You've got to give Micah Martin some credit. They are making the enforcers look somewhat slow as the Dice lead it by a score of 10-9. And now breaking free right now is Mark Weber for the Nevada Hot Dice. And boy, they are hot as a pistol right now. Weber are now being pursued. Looks like J.R. Widener coming around. But what a great game so far by Mark Weber, the entire Nevada team.
Well, and Mark Weber has a very fluid skating style. We talk about how ugly the enforcers are. Mark Weber, although he's a pretty big guy, actually is a pretty good skater.
J.R. Widener now and Little Richard battling it out. Widener goes high on the track. Little Richard, oh, look at a great move by Widener. Cuts to the inside and goes by Little Richard. And now he cuts it off. Little Richard upset. Oh, I can't believe it. He Pearl Harbors Widener from the back. Look at Richard grabbing his skate, twisting his knee. I don't believe Little Richard is going absolutely berserk. The referee separated. We'll be back right after this.
We're back at Rollerjam Arena. It's halftime. Everyone almost in a state of shock. I'm Ken Resnick along with Lee the Hawk Rehrman. First off, no one ever believed the Nevada Hot Dice could be staying with the New York Enforcers, the defending leaders of the pack, nonetheless leading it by a score of 11-9. But Hawk, we have talked about little Richard Brown numerous times being a ticking time bomb. One of the reasons the Florida Sundogs wanted no part of him, but the man has absolutely lost it, going berserk, a completely unprovoked attack on J.R. Widener, and even worse, you see right there, deliberately twisting a skate, Hawk trying to tear up Widener's knee.
Well, you call him a ticking time bomb. I'd say it's more like an erupting volcano, and poor J.R. Widener, you see him being pulled away by one referee after the damage had been done. But there's Richard Brown. I tell you, we've said it all along. He was a good, clean skater early in the year. It was a progression. The Sundogs didn't want him. The Hot Dice got him. He seemed to be a positive at first, but now that emotional instability of little Richard Brown, now you got to question, do the Hot Dice want the man?
And I can tell you that the trainers have taken J.R. Widener off the track, and he was able to put absolutely no weight on that leg whatsoever. It does not bode well for J.R. Widener. Now, Broadway Danny Wolf is standing by trackside, and Danny, watch yourself. Little Richard Brown has totally lost it.
Little Richard Brown, I gotta ask you, I have followed your career for decades. I've never seen you lose your cool like that. What did J.R. Widener say to you?
No more Mr. Nice Guy. I'm tired of all these new kid chumps trying to make me look bad, and I'm really tired of Mark D'Amato telling his guys to go and hurt anybody. He want to play rough, he's playing with the wrong one. 37 years experience here. I don't take crap off of nobody.
Well, let me ask you, you guys are up by 2 points. You're 2 quarters away from being...
Are you surprised?
A little bit,
Why?
yeah.
I got 37 years of experience. These guys want to skate, they want to learn. Them chump whip, what do they call them? Sun rats or sun dogs or whip puppies, the enforcers, the Quakes. Everybody better watch out for this team.
Well, getting put in the penalty box for 2 jams is not going to help your cause.
My team is good enough. I can sit in here all day and they'll still go out and get the job done.
I have to take exception. I don't think J.R. Widener did anything to hurt anybody. All he did was try and score. That's the problem, the unpredictability little Richard brings to the track. And on the other side of the coin, nobody is as predictable as Kim Hart.
It's been said that Kim Hart's party attitude has placed her at more late-night parties than early morning practices.
I'm really not the bad girl I made out to be.
Just like a slot machine, she entices you with her friendly smile and showgirl looks, then leaves you heartbroken and busted. Just listen to what some of Kim's former boyfriends had to say.
She'll take you for everything you got. She's a money-grubbing bitch. She maxed out all my credit cards, dumped me, and I'm still paying them off.
There's a sucker born every minute.
A world-class gymnast, Kim Hart stays in shape by working out in some rather unusual ways. On the track, she's a master at undermining the confidence of her rivals, and she's playing dirty to get the edge.
I'm a great skater. People can believe what they want to believe.
I'll tell you, I'm no big fan of Kim Hart's showboating activities.
I'm a fan.
That doesn't surprise me. We'll be back with the second half right after this. Don't go away. If you just joined us, that score is correct. The Hot Dice 11, the Enforcers 9.
Well, Kim Hart's good to look at, but let's see if she can keep skating with her Hot Dice teammates to pull it out here.
The women are at the starting line, and Hawk, take it away.
Number 3, it's period number 3. Oh my goodness, that's Heather Gooden. Grabs the period side from the showgirl, Marissa. She doesn't care. She's just playing to the crowd, and I tell you, I'm a crowd of one who says great stuff.
Boy, now there's a shock, and right away, again, breaking out for the Nevada Hot Dice. This is Mindy Smith and Kim Hart, the two really speedster, the most physical of the players. Hart and Mindy Smith now finally, one of the New York Enforcers is trying to catch up. This is Heather Gooden, done ripping up our Card Girls period 3 sign, and down goes Mindy Smith. This is now or rather that was Kim Hart that went down, and it's Mindy Smith and Heather Gunnan.
Well, and obviously she didn't waste too much energy ripping that card, but I don't know if Mindy Smith is a true match for Heather Gunnan, but as soon as I speak, she goes right around her and leaves Heather Gunnan in the dust.
Well, now we'll find out what kind of a match she is for Janet Abraham. Certainly Mindy Smith the quicker of the two, but Abraham far and away the most physically intimidating woman, I think, in the entire World Skating League.
Well, she's having about as much success as Danny Wolf did earlier in this game. And Janet Abraham, as we always say, is a force to be reckoned with here in the World Skating League.
Janet Abraham kind of throws her hands up, looks at the referee, says, hey, I didn't do anything. But again, Janet Abraham prevented a lot more scoring on the part of the Nevada Hot Dice. And now standing by trackside, Danny Wolf with Captain Mark D'Amato.
Mark D'Amato, you can't be too happy right now. You guys are trailing less than 2 quarters left.
You know, as sick as I am of Richard Brown, I'm more sick of you in my face every time I'm sitting on this bench.
What did I do?
We're behind. I was cut off guard the first period. Don't worry about it. In the next period, we will dominate.
Certainly a surprise. The enforcers still trailing the Nevada Hot Dice. Now Shelley Rosell out along with Karen Magnuson, and Kim Hart goes down. And now 2 enforcers. This is a great opportunity as they high-five one another for the enforcers to get back in the lead. There you see Shea Brown waiting to try and block. I don't know if she can take on both Rosell and Magnuson. They do a crisscross. Janet Abraham comes back, puts down Shea Brown. Shelley Rosell goes by, tries to call Karen Magnuson up. Magnuson unable to get to her feet, and an alert play by Shelley Rosell calling off the jam.
Well, and here you see Kim Hart going down early at the hands of Karen Magnuson and Shelley Rosell. But then you see Janet Abraham. I'm assuming Karen Magnuson didn't mean to be taken out by Janet Abraham, but whatever happened, cleared the way. Shelley Rosell got the points, called off the jam before Kim Hart had a chance to catch up. Good alert play to call off the jam by Shelley Rosell.
And it is 12-11. The Hot Dice, Karen Magnuson still down, you see on the infield. That would be a tough blow for the New York Enforcers. And now once again, breaking loose, this is April Tootle. Boy, something you don't see. April Tootle very seldom wearing a jammer helmet. But I think the enforcers taken a little bit by surprise by the injury to Karen Magnuson. Magnuson down now, coming up is Laura Weintraub. Weintraub certainly far and away the quicker skater that is in April Tootle. And Karen Magnuson now has gotten to her feet, and now a great move. Weintraub just sends April Tootle into the rail. I think Tootle was almost exhausted. And now a whip by Laura Weintraub goes down. One of the enforcers now closing in on Janet Abraham, sneaks by on the inside, and now goes by Shelley Rosell on the outside. What a great jam by Laura Weintraub at 5'9", 135, weaving her way throughout the entire pack. Shelley Rosell kind of a little elbow after the fact, but Weintraub putting a lot of points on the board.
Well, here's a big whip from Shea Brown, number 35. You see Laura Weintraub dodging and weaving around her own team, around Janet Abraham and the enforcer, scores the points, gets all she can, calls off the jam. Great job.
16-11. The Hot Dice, they've already had one major upset. Boy, what an upset this would be if they can upend the leaders of the pack, 3-time defending leaders of the pack, the New York Enforcers. Right now, they're up 16-11. Shelley Rosell now trying to get out, but right now, this is Mindy Smith, and she has been almost a jamming machine for these Nevada Hot Dice, being pursued now by Heather Gunnan, the 2 fastest skaters, and Mindy Smith now turns around, calls Heather Gunnan up, tries to take it down. Bad move by Smith, but now Heather Gunnan, instead of going after the pack, goes back and gives a little 6-gun action to Mindy Smith, but it gave time for Mindy Smith to come around and catch up to Gunnan.
Well, we've talked about it all day, Ken. These girls, actually the guys too, but the girls specifically have seemed to be choosing showboating over playing, as you see Heather Gunnan score some points. But I have to comment on that last behavior there. Heather Gunnan started going backwards, calling up number 35, or number 36, Mindy Smith. And there you see Heather Gunnan score the points as Janet Abraham, big Janet Abraham, almost looked like a Texas Bulldog from Mark D'Amato, but paves the way for Heather Gunnan.
Hawk, I've just been informed by one of our ace statisticians, James Ponte, that Karen Magnuson maybe have a broken jaw and is certainly out of the rest of this game. A major loss for the New York Enforcers, as now Shelley Rosell goes out and gives a whip to Linda Leisure. Linda Leisure not the fastest, but they're all gonna have to pick up the jamming helmet now. Switching off, Karen Magnuson out, being pursued now by Kim Hart. I think Kim Hart, a quicker skater than Linda Leisure. Leisure perhaps, remember the Sisters of Suffering, certainly more physical, but Hart gets an elbow by and goes right by Leisure. Now Linda Leisure catches a big elbow. Good job of Kim Hart staying on her skates. This is Kim Hart and Linda Leisure as they close in on the pack. The entire pack goes down. I don't know if anybody. Leisure, smart move, bright move by Linda Leisure. Gets up, goes around, and calls off. The Enforcers are right back in it, Hawk.
Well, we always see strategy as something that many teams ignore. Right here, a very alert number 38, Linda Leisure right there. There's a pile of bodies. She scores the points, realizes there's some jammers from the Hot Dice that could score, calls off the jam, gets the points. Great job, heads up by Linda Leisure.
We're all tied up at 16 apiece. Under 55 seconds left to go in the period. The skaters better hurry, and right off the bat, it's Heather Gunnan, the Pan American gold medal speed skating winner 3 times over, out for the New York Enforcers, but she's got to be a little winded as the Gunnan comes around. You can see her trying to catch her breath. I think she's waiting right now, knowing she's a quicker of the two. Catching up as Shelley Rossell battles Mindy Smith. Down goes Mindy Smith. Now a great opportunity. You've got Heather Gunnan and Shelley Rossell all about it. And here they come, Shea Brown back. And Gunnan goes right by her. Shea Brown throws her hands up as if to say, I didn't even see her. But Gunnan did what she needed to, put her team back in the lead.
Well, we saw her come around the track really fast, score the points, call off the jam. And I'll tell you what, this girl's got a lot of energy. Earlier, she was ripping the card away from the card girl, and now she's going right to the head of number 36, Mindy Smith. Unbelievable. Heather Gunnan, I tell you, she has so much energy. She's got to be doing something. If she's not ripping cards, if she's not skating, she's fighting. And Mindy Smith is on the receiving end of some of that animosity.
I don't know if it was too bright. If she gets a penalty, it'll carry over to the 4th period. We will find out when we come back with a man right after this.
The Enforcers are in front, 17-16.
And we saw Mindy Smith get Pearl Harbored by Heather Gunnan. Let's see if the men spin it all on the track and don't fight. Who's going to win the mega match?
Starting period 4, the men are on the track. It'll be very interesting as right now, breaking out right off the bat for the New York Enforcers is Fred Eichhorn, and coming out for the Nevada Hot Dice, this is, and Mark Weber takes down Eichhorn from behind, and Micah Martin is out on his own. I've just been informed by our statistician, Cindy Gudak, that little Richard Brown has gone to the dressing room. He's having an equipment problem with his skate. So right now, the new coach of the Nevada Hot Dice in the locker room. I understand they're trying to repair his skate. Whether he'll be making back or not at this time, we don't know, but thank you, Cindy.
Well, there's Micah Martin trying to go up against Tim Washington, Mark D'Amato. We saw earlier he had success, but then we see a big whip. Micah Martin, I was just going to comment, he had no success against Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato, so he tried that, didn't work, door was closed, had Weber come up, gave him a big whip as Mark D'Amato sends him to the track, and Tim Washington adds insult to injury. But heads up play by Micah Martin and Weber to score points with the big whip. Great job by the Hot Dice, even with Little Richard off the track. Here's a setup. Weber, number 37, comes up, sends Micah Martin around, he scores the points, calls off the jam. Good for the Hot Dice, great play.
I think it was very smart, Mike. Hawk, you could see both D'Amato and Washington keeping their eyes on the bigger, stronger Mark Weber. Weber sensed it and just threw Micah Martin high, and you see the Dice still clinging to that 1-point lead. It's now 18-17. Tim Washington at the front of the pack along with D'Amato. And now they whip around, and this is John Morrissey, the skull coming out, almost lost his balance. Morrissey needs to pick up some points. Surprising, Hawk. Who would have ever imagined the Hot Dice would be leading the Enforcers by 1 this late in the game? We're in the 4th and final period.
Well, John Morrissey, we always talk about how ugly the Enforcers are. He's not the fastest skater either, but right now he's out there all alone. The Hot Dice don't have a jammer out there. I guess the loss of Richard Brown right now, as we know he's fixing his skate in the locker room, may be affecting their play. They look like a team without a captain right now, Ken.
Well, right now Morrissey goes high, one of the dice goes down. Now Tim Washington puts down another, and suddenly the enforcers are right back in this one. Now coming up is one of the hot dice, and Tim Washington takes him down. Another one sails over. This is number 32, Vinny Mormondano, goes over. Of course, Mormondano was a blocker, so no points scored. He wasn't wearing the jammer helmet. That's the only way you score in the WSL.
Well, we always talk about Tim Washington being physical. He can't help but be physical. And right now, as we look at a replay of Tim Washington sending hot dice like flies into the railing, and Sean Corbin, you watch this move right here. He takes down number 36, Jason McDaniel, I believe. Sean Corbin said it was too physical, and he's going to get a penalty.
Karen Magnuson being taken off the track, may have a broken jaw. Danny Wolf standing by with Tim Washington.
Tim, your leaders of the pack crown is close to being dethroned.
Are you stupid? No. Why are you sitting so close to me, man? I am not worried about these freaking dice, whatever they are. We're gonna freaking rock these guys. We're rolling them. They can't handle us.
And the big double block by Dan Givani and Fred Eichhorn sends one of the hot dice down. Well, I'll tell you what, Puck, gotta give some credit to Danny Wolf. He'll get in anybody's face.
Well, now I've made a decision. I think the roughest person for him to be with is Tim Washington, second Janet Abraham, and third Mark D'Amato. With any enforcer, though, he has his hands full.
There is no question, and certainly the hot dice have their hands full. Mark Webber doing a great job of blocking. Both, no, I beg your pardon, that is Randy Garrett. And Garrett, by the way, is playing as Mark D'Amato takes out two of his own men. Randy Garrett is playing with a torn ligament on his collarbone. That tells you, talk about a gut check, what he's made out of. Mark D'Amato takes out two of his own. We'll be back.
Enforcers 19, the Hot Dice 18. This is not the Enforcer team we're used to seeing. There is no question their leader of the pack status is definitely on the line.
This crowd is stunned. I think the closeness of this game, nobody gave the Hot Dice much of a chance, but boy, right now, it is absolutely anybody's opportunity to become leaders of the pack as we are winding down the mega match. Dan Givani out for the Enforcers, and Mark Webber, who's had a great game, blows right by him, puts him down on the track. Webber, 5'10", 200 out of Cincinnati, has been a rising star tonight for the Hot Dice.
Well, and Mark D'Amato was not at all pleased at the end of that last jam. He ended up taking out his own men as Randy Garrett baited him, and he took out both Eichhorn and Eichhorn and Morrissey. It was not ugly, and Mark D'Amato!
The Eliminator again! Mark D'Amato said he was going to use it, kept it in the trick bag all night, waited for the opportunity, and absolutely annihilated Mark Webber.
Well, he debuted it last week against, and here we see number 37, Mark Webber, kind of gloating a little bit as he takes Dan Givani down. But here you see Brian Gamble setting up that same Mark Webber, and there's the Eliminator by Mark D'Amato. Unbelievable. 2 weeks, 2 Eliminators, 2 results the same. Number 37, Mark Webber. Oh my goodness, Ken, that Eliminator. I don't think I would want to be anywhere near that Eliminator, much less Mark D'Amato at any time of the day.
And a smart move by Mark D'Amato taking out Mark Webber. We're all tied up. It is 19 apiece. Little Richard Brown is back, got his skate fixed. But Mark Webber did such a great factor. In my estimation, D'Amato couldn't have picked a better player to eliminate from the track right now. Down goes Micah Martin out on the track. And now coming around, this is Fred Eichhorn all alone. Remember, we are all knotted at 19 apiece. It's the mega match on the line. The winning team stakes claim to leader of the pack. Little Richard back. Eichhorn goes by, just weaving in and out. What a great jam by Fred Eichhorn. Goes through the entire pack and cuts off the jam. Oh, I'll tell you, the cream of the crop is rising to the top, and right now, it's the New York Enforcer.
Well, here you see Micah Martin. We got a an aerial shot of his heap that he leaves down there on the cement. But watch number 12, Fred Eichhorn, the fresh back from a skate fix. Little Richard Brown doesn't seem to be able to make enough of an impact as Fred Eichhorn scores points and alertly calls off the jam before the Hot Dice can reciprocate.
Right now, 45 seconds left in the game. It's 23-19 Enforcers, but remember, this jam will go to the full 60 seconds if it's not called off, but I don't know if the Hot Dice can break somebody free. Now, I don't understand this. Little Richard going out as a jammer almost loses his balance. Richard far from the fastest Hot Dice skater, maybe hoping his experience can overcome his lack of speed, but they're down by 4. Little Richard sending signals to his teammates. He's trying to set up a set play, obviously.
Well, he's out from that rest. Apparently, he had to get some equipment fixed, gave an opportunity to rest a little bit. Even though he's the KGO veteran, he may have a few more tricks in his bag.
Well, there's Tim Washington calling him up. Oh, he set him up. Mark D'Amato, the screamer. Little Richard goes down. The clock is winding down. The Enforcers call it off, which they can do. This one is over. The Enforcers win it. It ends Mark D'Amato putting the screamer on Little Richard. Richard hurt his leg. But the bottom line, it is the New York Enforcers maintaining their status of the leaders of the pack, and now standing by with the victorious Enforcers captain, Danny Wolf.
All right, the New York Enforcers successful again. You guys defended the leader of the pack crown. Again, you won. Now, we saw the screamer, we saw the eliminator. What else do you have in your bag of tricks, D'Amato?
You really think I tell a chump two-bit announcer like you what
everyone wants to know.
You know what? They can kiss my...
Don't say it. Brian Gamble, let me turn to you for a second. I don't think you guys thought this game was going to be this tough.
What, are you kidding me? Were you watching the game?
Yeah, you won by 4 points, but it's close.
Did you see the blatant domination there? Well, this freak right here is leading the way for the New York Enforcers, the baddest team in this friggin' league, and will bust anybody's ass who wants to get up on the track. That's the end of that story.
The final score, once again, the New York Enforcers 23, the Hot Dice 19, and Hawk Brian Gamble a little defensive. I don't think he was pleased at the closeness of the score.
Well, I'll tell you what, these Enforcers, some teams come to play, some teams come to win. These Enforcers always find a way to win the mega match.
And bottom line, the Enforcers are still defending leaders of the pack. For Broadway, Danny Wolf, and Hawk Rehrman, I'm Ken Resnick saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with another mega match. So long, everybody.